My husband and I made $150,000 last year, and we live paycheck to paycheck. Let's talk about it. I never thought that I had a problem or that I needed to learn to budget until I realized that we spent $150,000 last year, and I have nothing to show for it.
All right, y'all. She posted this a week ago. Right now, it is currently March 26, 2025. And what I see on the screen says, we make $150,000 and we live paycheck to paycheck. Now, I'm first going to start by saying, this is why I say it don't matter how much money some people get. You're still going to find a way to be broke. And I know a lot of people are going to say, not me, I'd be good. And, and I would hope so. But a lot of people have a spending problem. They make more than enough money. There are a lot of people that don't make $60,000 in a year. There are some people who don't make $30,000 in a year. And they are living paycheck to paycheck also. And they're looking at videos like this, like, how the heck are you making way more than me? And you're saying you're in the same situation, because a lot of those people are living paycheck to paycheck. And this is why I say everybody's broke is not the same. If y'all want to fight about it, join the army. Yo broke ain't everybody else's broke. She is an example of what I am talking about, making way more money than some people who are quite literally near the poverty line and still saying paycheck to paycheck. This could be because of student loans. This could be because living above your means. This could be because you don't even know how much money you're bringing in, not having a budget. So many factors can go into this, but my point still remains. And I don't care if you even try to say something like, oh, she has kids. If she does have kids, well, hopefully we'll figure that out. But there are people who make $30,000, $40,000 who have like 3 kids living paycheck to paycheck. So you're not going to get me to believe that people making 6 figures saying that you live paycheck to paycheck is the same. I'm not going for it. But with anything, we got to get additional context. So let's see what's going on.
Nothing to show for it. I mean, I have a house, I have a car, I have all those things, but they're not $150,000 worth.
And you know what I found interesting is she said she had nothing to show for it, but she has a house, a car. That's more than a lot of people can say. So I don't know if she thinks that that's not a big deal. Like how we've got to this point in society where we're like, yeah, I got a house, I got a car, but I don't got nothing to show for it. My question is, and this is an authentic, honest, genuine question, is what did you want to show for your $150,000 that y'all went and worked for? Like, what is it that would have been good enough? Because I am curious to know.
So where did the money go? I spent it. That's where the money went. And that was what I wanted to change. That's why I did a low buy year. That's why I'm budgeting as hardcore I am. I use 3 different spreadsheets to budget, and that might seem insane. But that's what I need to do in order to have it all managed. I need to look at my money. I need to stare at it. I need to think about it. It needs to be on the front of my mind, because if I passively use it, then I'm not paying attention and I spend it all. And that's for sure.
So she says she spent it, but on what? People make videos saying they're living paycheck to paycheck. They have nothing to show for it. They have a house and a car. But where did it go? Did you go to Dubai? Were you in Jamaica eating plantain? Were you partying in Costa Rica? Were you in Miami getting jiggy? Where is the money? Do you have a gambling problem? Wait, did it go to Klarna or DoorDash? Are you an Afterpay girly? Where did it go? Like Sephora? Do you have a spending problem? Nah, I'm not going for it. I need to do more research because that's not enough for me. And these are some of the people that will get online and say $100,000 ain't enough money, but they're not telling you where they spend their money. It might not be enough for you. $150,000 for a lot of families, more than enough. Are you living in a house you really shouldn't be living in? Are you driving cars you shouldn't be driving? Are you partaking in activities not within your budget? No, I'm not going for it. I need to know more, because at this point, I'm convinced it's a trend for everyone to be like, I'm living paycheck to paycheck. And there are people out here with real debt journeys really going through it. And they would like to know, genuinely, it would be helpful.
I have made 100 videos on this, so honestly, go find one of those. But I am not currently living paycheck to paycheck. I now have savings because I learned to budget. I was in the past, not now, living paycheck to paycheck because I was what? Spending it all. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Miss Katie May, you just posted this 23 hours ago. That video where you said you and your husband was living paycheck to paycheck, that was last week. I know I'm not tripping. I gotta go back.
My husband and I made $150,000 last year, and we live paycheck to paycheck.
She said we live paycheck to paycheck. She did not say lived paycheck to paycheck. And I'm clocking tea right now. Katie, we finna clock your tea. Katie, because what I find is a lot of people like to insult viewers' intelligence online. Like, we don't have ears to hear and eyes to read. Katie, you said it out your mouth. Live. You didn't say lived. So you're not currently living paycheck to paycheck, but it says here, posted 1 week ago. The math ain't mathing, girl. Miss Katie, what is going on? And somebody here in the comments said, after seeing your budget, you are living paycheck to paycheck by choice, girl. I need to see the budget. Where's the budget? And then she commented saying, with my budget, I am not living paycheck to paycheck anymore. And the person underneath says, no one lives paycheck to paycheck on purpose. We live in America and love paying 5 times more for everything. We are getting ripped off and most love it. Now, if I go look at the budget, we may be able to tell if she is living paycheck to paycheck on purpose, because there's a difference between wants and needs, and we need to be honest about that. And then somebody else says she lives in a low-cost state and was spending $5K a month for shopping. Oh, hold on. Ain't no way.
I spent $150,000 last year. What did I spend it on? That's a major question around here, so let me show you the receipts of what I spent last year. This is not this year. I am learning to budget. We're doing a lot better, but this is the last year. As you can see, last year we averaged about $1,000 in groceries. That is a far cry from our $800 budget currently. Some months are even $1,400 in groceries. Dining and drinks, some months we spent $2,000 eating out.
Hold on. Are y'all seeing what I'm seeing? Y'all comment down below. Is Katie tripping? If she's tripping, say she's tripping. If not, say Katie's not tripping. Because what? We just seen the grocery budget. Let's go back. Every month, it seems like she was spending between $750, really like $800 to $1,420. And this was her budget, right? She might have spent more than this on groceries. But then
eating out.
We come over here and we see that she was spending anywhere between $777 to $2,130 on fast food and still getting groceries. So in other words, they're eating out a lot. So you tell me, as a normal person living paycheck to paycheck, and this is what she claimed she was doing. She is living paycheck to paycheck. If you are worried about your finances, that's one of the first things to go. You stop eating out as much, because as you can see, she's paying more to eat out per month than she is just going to get the groceries. And this is why a lot of people that make a lot of money still are broke. But they will be on the internet crying saying, I'm living paycheck to paycheck. And everybody wants to be, in my opinion, right now in this certain day and age, it seems like a lot of people want to be victims that are attaching themselves with your struggles. People who are quite literally spending on their leisure all of their money. And this right here is 1,000% a choice. So the person in that last comment that said, oh, nobody is purposely trying to be living paycheck to paycheck, this sound on purpose to me, because you have a choice. Now we're acting like leisure is not a choice. You can say no. You don't have to go out to eat. You can cook your own food. But something tells me it's about to get worse from here. So let me keep listening to what's going on.
Some months we spent $2,000 eating out on dining and drinks. Our budget currently is $400. And then shopping. This was our big category. Some months you see we spent about $5,000 just shopping. Currently, we spend about $400 a month on discretionary spending, which includes our shopping.
They were spending more on shopping and fast food than some people get in a whole month from both incomes if they have a 2-income household. These are the people saying they live paycheck to paycheck. All right.
I have countless and countless screenshots of iterations of more and more of this. As you can see, we cut our spending in half from where it was previously. In some cases, we are spending a fourth of what we were spending previously.
And I'm glad she's not spending that much money currently. But what we're not going to do is act like in that last video, she didn't say live. That's why the people ate it up, Katie. And if we look at Katie, and she's on here saying she lived paycheck to paycheck, let's look and assess the situation here. A lot of people who say they live paycheck to paycheck, they're not always looking like Miss Katie. Miss Katie's hair is laid. She looks nice and put together. She eating out. She said she got a house and a car. She goes shopping like she got her little shirt on. She probably got while she was out shopping, spending that $5,000 a month that she was spending before she started budgeting and paying attention to what she was doing. And Miss Katie got on the internet less than a week ago and said that they live paycheck to paycheck. And then said, no, that was last year when we just looked at the dates.
Yes, it was a me problem. I was the problem. My husband and I were the problem. We were spending too much, which is why I am learning to budget. I'm learning how to manage my money better so that way you don't keep repeating the same mistakes. We're having financial goals to meet every single year. We're saving my entire paycheck, living off of another.
Look, I'm tired of it now. Like, this was 4 days ago. And I'm glad she knows she was the problem. But we already clocked the tea. I showed you guys the proof. Let me see what else is going on.
For me, living paycheck to paycheck means that we rely on our next paycheck to meet our bills and necessities. We don't have an entire paycheck worth of savings in a savings account to make up for any loss of income.
So when she said she was living paycheck to paycheck last year, she said for her necessities. Katie, Miss Katie girl, necessities is not eating out every month. Like how y'all were eating out, it's not going shopping every month for leisure. Now, I can understand if we see the mortgage on there and you said, hey, I got this car note, I got insurance, I got to pay the water bill, the gas bill, the light bill. Heck, I'd even understand the pet insurance, health insurance for the kids, health insurance for you, dental. I get that. Necessities, real grown-up bills. But what y'all done is attach yourselves to people who are really struggling. I'm just going to call it what it is because it's trendy and I'm tired of it. And I just feel like it's a little thirsty. It's a little thirsty and tired. And I feel like everybody want to struggle so bad. Why do y'all want to struggle? Like, why do y'all want to act like y'all are struggling when you're not? It's very insincere to people who are legit struggling. But you got on here and said y'all were blowing money fast. And if you would have called the thing and said, hey, I was just living above my means, I wouldn't have no problem with it. But you got on here and said I was living paycheck to paycheck. And the reality of what she's describing does not fit the criteria of most people who say they're living paycheck to paycheck. They're not talking about fun money. And I'm annoyed because this is 1,000% by choice. Like, you could have tightened it up at any point, but you want to keep going out to eat. And I fear the privilege is just sinking through each video we click on. It's just getting worse and worse.
I don't know what that means for everybody. Like, we have extra money. We have extra spending money. We go out to eat. We do all those things. We just rely on paychecks in order to pay our bills.
And that's because you didn't want to stop eating out. You didn't want to stop shopping. You didn't want to stop doing what you was doing. Miss Katie girl is dressed. She looks nice. Plants in the back, decor. Miss Katie, you comparing yourself to people who are really living paycheck to paycheck, not by choice, is a disservice to them. Let's continue with the foolery.
But I don't know if that's what everyone views it as. For me, living paycheck to paycheck, I spent almost $10,000 at Target last year and almost $10,000 at Amazon last year. Here's the proof. And I had a shopping problem. I had a spending problem. I couldn't stop spending money. And then I spent myself into a problem. I spent myself into debt. And now I'm showing you guys how we can better budget, better manage our finances, what a realistic budget looks like.
Miss Katie, I'm sorry. She would be the last person I would want to hear this from. Here's why. It's coming off as very entitled. It's coming off like I have leisure money to blow that I wasn't responsible with last year. I have a spending problem, which I can understand people having a spending problem. But she got on here initially, in my opinion, lumping herself in with people who really struggle financially, who don't have the income. And this is a big part of the conversation. That's like Kim K getting on here saying she's living paycheck to paycheck. Like, Kim, I don't want to hear it from you. You're making a lot of money. You might need to sell one of them houses. You need to stop shopping. That's what I would think of somebody that has a lot of money. And I see her and her situation no different. $150,000, you are making way more than the average family is in America. You just said you spent $20,000 at Target at Amazon because you have a shopping problem. And I do think that that is an important thing to address. And I hope she is able to get help through that. But that doesn't make me forget that you are not like the people who are genuinely struggling because they don't have enough income, the people who have lost jobs, the people who are struggling in the economy, who cannot afford to make ends meet and are living paycheck to paycheck, the people who have had health scares, the people who have had to empty their nest eggs. You were out blowing your money. Are we supposed to feel bad for you? Do you see what I'm saying? It's coming off privileged. This wouldn't be a journey I would want to watch because it seems insincere in my opinion. It seems like somebody that has enough money to show people, hey, I can cut back and stop spending on the things that I didn't need to spend on that were making me quote unquote paycheck to paycheck to be relatable to the rest of y'all people who are really struggling, but you're not the same.
Like for somebody who's making my amount of money, because I feel like a lot of us have a spending problem. We just like go and walk around Target, therapy, girl therapy, spending money. I've seen so many jokes about how girls don't have a budget. And girls, you need a budget because it doesn't matter how much money you make. You can spend yourself into paycheck to paycheck. That's what I did. That's what a lot of my friends around me do. It's so easy to do.
And I actually agree. A lot of people do have a spending problem. She is a good example of what I'm talking about. And I wish her all the best, like her trying to share her journey with other people. But I personally feel like it was a little unrelatable. And I'm just being honest. Now, according to census.gov, the real median household income is around $80,610. And her household was pulling in $70,000 more dollars than that. I'll say it again. Her household was pulling in $70,000 more dollars than that. So she almost had enough for what most people make in two households. So think about your neighbor and their neighbor. All of their income together is what that one income that she and her husband had was bringing in. And she said they were living paycheck to paycheck. But you saw why. Some people's broke is able to go to Starbucks every day, go to Ruth Chris, get steak and lobster. And your broke is going to McDonald's, the dollar menu, the biggie bags at Wendy's. And these are the same people saying paycheck to paycheck. just like you. And for those of you who don't talk to people every day or have encounters with normal people, I wanted to Google what paycheck to paycheck means to the average person. It says here, living paycheck to paycheck means spending nearly all of one's income on necessities, leaving little to no money for savings or discretionary spending, often leading to financial strain. But we're also going to be objective and be fair and read the part that says, not always low income. While often associated with lower income individuals, studies show that even some households with higher incomes can struggle living paycheck to paycheck. And the reason why I wanted to show both of those is because that further proves my point that there are two different types of broke. How people manage money has a lot to do with their mindset. So that's why it never really matters how much money some people have. They will still find a way to be broke. Give them more money, they will spend more money. And people with lower incomes won't be able to use that money on discretionary spending because they have to put their basic necessities above what they want, above going out to eat, above doing things like large shopping hauls. They simply can't afford to do that because the other individuals in this situation might quite literally just be trying to keep the lights on. And if you can't understand that, I feel like there's a lack of awareness or ability to really put yourself in somebody else's shoes, even if you are doing okay. Just imagine somebody getting on the internet saying, I'm living paycheck to paycheck, but I can't go on a vacation every month. Meanwhile, you're like, I'm lucky if I can go on one vacation once a year. That's kind of how this sounds. You are doing things that are so abnormal to the average person and getting on the internet saying that your money is tight when you are literally spending your money on things that aren't necessities. And the average person is complaining about the price of eggs at the grocery store. Do you get what I'm saying? Maybe she's around people who just spend all of their money going out to eat, doing leisure activities until they don't have any money and think that that's normal. And I do think that there is a demographic of people who would relate to that. And I hope that's who she's trying to reach because in my opinion, if the marketing is to reach people and to be relatable, it's not coming off very relatable. Like you really got on here and complained that you overshopped because you had the money to overshop and got mad that you did what you wanted to do with your money and then said you don't have nothing to show for it. I would argue that you do have something to show for it. It's just in whatever you bought. It might be in your stomach still because she said she was going out to eat and she didn't do a whole breakdown on her mortgage or her car and all these other factors that play into where your money really went. I'm not even gonna lie, y'all. I had to pack Katie up because she was getting on my nerves. Plain and simple. But y'all, let me know what you think about this down below. Do you have an issue with people that make in the six-figure range saying they live paycheck to paycheck if they are especially discretionary spending on non-essential items? Or do you really see no difference between them saying it and people that live paycheck to paycheck because they don't make enough income? Y'all comment down below, let me know. But we have to start making better decisions today in order to have a better future.